beloved and holy friends. Goodness, you were in this space quicker than I was. Thank you for showing up. Goodness, I can't speak right now. Thank you for showing up, for choosing to be in this space with me today, for thinking for yourself, right? Like, technically, you could only think for yourself with me not being in the space just yet. So, thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. I want to talk about thinking for ourselves, and it's definitely one of those topics that's a little bit difficult to discuss because what does thinking for ourselves even mean? Hey, Shannon, Mr. Mildred, friends, Siobhan, thank you for sharing some love with us. Thank you for sharing love with our Reddit friends. It's nice to have you friends here. I'll read something worth saying, and then we'll think for ourselves a little bit, right? Different parts of self, think for ourselves. So let's pick a random one. This one? I keep opening up to this one over and over and over again, so I'll read it again. It goes, fear arises from the thought that I am alone, separated from my creator, yet in reality it is the creator perceiving the creator and creating the perception that God is separate from God. How powerful. If you, as God, could limit yourself, that would be a limitation. If you could not limit yourself, that would be a limitation. Paradoxes all around. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Salto Malalto. It's nice to have you here. On D joining us as well. Eden, even. NW. Hey, it's my favorite hippie. It's my favorite NW342. Thank you for joining me. Hello, Belfort. Hello, Puppy. Hello, New Kitty. New Kitty, not here right now. I think she's with my sister, Puppy. Is chilling with my dad right now. But we are here. Thinking of ourselves sounds so simple at first glance. Thinking for ourselves sounds so simple at first glance, but it can be very tricky, especially depending on your environment. Especially depending on your environment. Like, and that's what I want to address today, friends. Is just talking about what it means to think for ourselves. Like, and I want to kind of take us through a little bit of a sequence of contemplation again. But let's just ponder, like, one, what does thinking for yourself mean? Right? Just ask yourself that question. Is it your religious ideas? Is it your current decision making when it comes to your career? Is it your understanding of what it means to be in a relationship, if you should be in a relationship? And I'm so happy that Aunt B mentioned it as well. Your environment, as in the place that you grew up in, has influenced your decision making more than we can even know, right? Like, the people we grew up with, the friends we had in school, the way our parents, treated us, has all of these layers of bias attached to us that causes us to think in certain ways. Think in ways that is not us thinking, think in ways that is not something that serves us. And that is what I want to address today, and I'm not coming into this space with a sense of like, oh, this is how you think for yourself, because I don't know. I actually don't know, and we're here to find out together. One of the biggest ways, at least in my life, that I found I can think for myself is just to think of myself as a multifaceted being, right? And that is what we're going to do today. So take a breath. Just like really take a breath. Take a breath like it's the first breath that you've ever taken in your entire existence. And let yourself, just melt a little bit into that breath. Soften yourself a little bit. If you're keeping some tension in your jaw, some tension in your shoulders, some tension in your face, some tension in your, gut, just be willing to look at yourself, be willing to breathe with yourself, and try to, what you see, if you will, what you feel, to just to soften it. Like if there's anything coming up for you right now, anything that might be a little bit sharp, soften it. I feel a little bit sharp right now, like a little bit prickly. Like I'm angsty, like I want to get away from myself. But unfortunately, we can't. There is no escaping what you are, friend. Unfortunately, fortunately, you cannot escape what you are. So in this moment, just for us to take some honor, some stability, some calm, and knowing that we are here, where we find ourselves now, be it on planet Earth, be it in the current, city or country that you find yourself in, be it in the apartment or office building or outside, wherever it is you find yourself right now, just be willing to recognize that no matter where it is you are here in this moment. Admit to yourself that you can't be anywhere else, and that in this moment you are safe, you are secure, you are taken care of. With this security, we have the ability to feel. We have the ability to be creative. We have the ability to be emotionally invested in the lives of others. When we start a relationship with someone, they become a part of our lives in a very real and visceral way. And the things we feel in turn gets influenced by having this person in our lives. How has your decision making, how has your thinking for yourself changed depending on who is in your life, depending on who finds themselves in your environment? Noticing just for a moment how, depending on who you are around, you make different decisions. Some decisions might be better by being around people, some decisions might be worse by being around people. And just asking yourself why that is. Spending a moment thinking about the fact that your decision making changes depending on where you are. The way you think for yourself changes depending on who you are around. Wondering, asking, thinking for a second if you are even thinking for yourself at all in these scenarios. Or are you thinking something that is going to be satiable, something that's going to be appropriate for the current situation? And that's okay as well. Sometimes it's necessary for us to think in a way that is going to be appropriate. But to, in this moment, look at all of the times that you changed what you might be thinking, and to give yourself just a little bit of leeway, a little bit of respect, to think what you need to be thinking, to feel what you need to be feeling in this moment, be it depending on a situation, a discussion, a current moment of turmoil between two entities, that you find yourself in a relationship with. More often than not, we want people to think the way we do, right? We have a sense of community, we have a sense of connection when someone thinks the way that we do. But unfortunately, when we start to pursue, when we start to become attached to another person thinking the way that we do, we can either become aggressive, abrasive towards the other person, or we change the things we think. We change the way we think so that we can feel that unity. We can feel that conformity. We can feel that connection with another person by thinking as they are thinking. Noticing that you've done that so many times, an absurd amount of times. From that perspective, to lean into your awareness of willpower, like really lean into your awareness of willpower, your ability to think for yourself, your ability to think things that are going to serve your life, your ability to think in a way that is going to be indicative of you, not your environment, not your upbringing, not your situation, but the true you that you are. To think from that place is more difficult than we give ourselves credit for sometimes. Our decision making is so influenced by the will of others. And by allowing our decision making, our thinking to be outsourced by the will of others, we give away our power. We give away our ability to will for ourselves the life that we want to live. And we give that, power over to someone who wants us to live a life that is going to serve them. Thinking for yourself in this moment, What would thinking for yourself mean to you? Would you change your career? Would you change your relationships? Would you change your diet, your exercise routine? Would you change the way that you know, play with your pets? Would you change the way that you make art? Too often we become so attached to what we know people like that we start thinking in that way. We start thinking, what can I do to please people, to make people happy, to provide a sense of conformity again? How can I show them I'm thinking in the way that they're thinking? And upon showing them that I'm thinking in the way that they're thinking, maybe they'll think about me, realizing that you don't need that. Not even at all. You have enough willpower to be who you are as you've been. And you get to make decisions for yourself that might not even serve you. It might not serve the people around you, it might not serve your environment, it might not even serve you. But allowing yourself your own decision making, allowing yourself a moment of your own truth is something that we go without so long in our lives. We find ourselves in a household and we have parents, and our parents are telling us, yes, this is a cup, this is a tree, this is a piece of grass, this is a cat. Before we think like that, we don't have those thoughts. We have thoughts of expansiveness, we have thoughts of beauty, we have thoughts of understanding, because we see it for what it is, beingness. And then as soon as we attach thought to it, as soon as our parents attach thought to it for us, we start to think in a way that the world deems appropriate. They put us in schools, teaching us how to think again, teaching us how to think in a linear one and stabilized, or maybe stabilized isn't the right word, authoritative thinking, right? Oh, yes, you think these things. And if you don't think these things exactly, then you don't get the points. You don't get the A, you don't get the approval from your teacher because you didn't think the way that we expected you to think. Just thinking for a moment how much that has influenced you in your life, how much has influenced you as a child, how much is influencing you in this moment. How many thought patterns have you adapted because it was what society expected? And we're not trying to demonize, we're not trying to say that they're bad in and of themselves, but we're trying to notice them. We're trying to be with them a little bit. Hermes Plur. From this place to lean into a compassionate state of existence, to lean into our hearts, to lean into this moment of thinking without having thoughts. You're like, Melt, what the hell does that mean? I don't know. I don't know. But thinking without thoughts sounds like a pure existence, a pure awareness. Thinking without expecting it to be correct, even. Too often we don't allow ourselves to think things because we might be wrong. We don't allow ourselves to share what we might be thinking because we're scared we're wrong. But even if you think something wrong, even if you share the wrong thought you had, you can provide an environment, you can provide a situation for another person to think correctly, to think for themselves. Upon hearing you think something that's wrong, they get to think for themselves something that might be right. Realizing in this moment that from a compassionate place, there is no hatred, there is no wrongdoing, there is no lack, there is no expectation for you to be right. Like we've gotten so indoctrinated in this world to think correctly. This is the way that it's done. You go to school and then you raise your hand if you want to go to the bathroom, and you have to listen to authority. You have to respect them without any pretense. And then you have to keep doing that so that you can go to high school, and then you can go to high school so that you can get to college, and then you can go to college so that you can go and work a job, and you can work a job so that you can have a retirement one day. And you can have a retirement one day so that you can live without working a job. And then what? Like too often we spend our entire lives going through this pattern, not ever questioning why, not ever thinking for ourselves, what the hell is it that I'm doing? What is it that this world is doing around us right now? It's so ridiculous that we've created for ourselves a world. Like the world we're living in, we created it, friends. We've created for ourselves this world, and alongside this world, there are only certain narratives that are acceptable. There's only a certain set of thought patterns that will be tolerated. And if you are not thinking in that way specifically, then you are seen as crazy. You're seen as disillusioned. You're seen as stupid. From that compassionate place, just to lean into your voice, to lean into your ability to listen, to lean into your ability to distinguish. I feel that is something that's of utmost importance in this moment as well. Talking about thinking for ourselves, to be able to listen to someone, but not to accept what it is they're saying as fact, to not get gaslit. Goodness. To speak in a way that allows you to think, allow someone else to think. It is from this ability to vocalize, this ability to say to the world what it is you're thinking, that I ask for the ability to be intuitive for all of us. Intuitive and receptive. Asking for insights that we might not be able to see or think with our normal minds or eyes, but still to be able to know. That knowing ultimately being the connection that we have with the whole, and that connection to the whole is our knowing. Thank you for joining me, friends, for sharing this moment with me, for just spending a moment thinking about these things. Too often we go through life never spending a moment thinking about any of these things. Or we think about them, but we feel we're not supposed to. How's that? I shouldn't be thinking these things. You're not your thoughts, friend. Oh, you're not your thoughts. You are the one that's observing. Trying to think from the perspective of that observer might be more easily said than done, but it is something that can be immense fun. But thank you for joining me, for bearing with me, for just spending a moment. I appreciate it so much. Very much. Looking forward to hearing about this topic. Thank you for joining me, Shannon. I hope you friends teach me. Teach me how to think for myself. I'm taking a break from Reddit to listen here as I felt it will be more impactful to myself this way. Thank you for joining us, Natalie. Pardon all the typos, it's okay. I find it dangerous to only associate with people who share the same views. It it causes a calcification of thinking. I agree, Natalie. Isaac, so fun. So much love to our brother Isaac. So much love to you, friends. Thank you for joining us, Isaac. Hey, Melina. Thank you for joining us, my friend. It's nice to have you here. Oh, this is hitting really hard. Thank you so much for joining me, Shannon, for feeling into these things. I will share a moment of mind expansion to my child today. She watched the meditation earlier and her mind was blown that you were that far away and she was seeing it live. Showing kids what is possible now so they can mold their future is rewarding. Yo, Natalie. Thank you for sharing that with me. Or we think about them and not do anything else but think about them. That also happens. Where we're caught in thought. We're caught in this narrative that we're like telling ourselves over and over and over again. And we're not allowing ourselves any. Hey, wat maak julle? I think either Pippi was trying to bite Eva because she was curious about the cat, or she was trying to bite the cat. Either way, aggressor energy happening. I have to. The defensive part of myself kicks in. Hey, Kartha! Hello to you, dude. Patreon just went through for another month. Woo! Thank you, Kartha. Thank you so much, Brother Bay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. I can't say thank you enough, but I'll try to. I really will try to. You get one of two Isaac flavors, either Isaac or Isaac. Dude, like your name is so beautifully fitting. This stick is just unreal. It really is. Because I didn't have it with me yesterday and you didn't show up yesterday. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna bring the stick today because Melita's gonna be here. And here you are. So thank you for joining me, Melita. I wish my dog could play with yours. It would slow down both of their antics. Maybe they'll, get to tire each other out a little bit. We can get a moment of peace, maybe, Natalie. Can you hippie these nuts? Highly intellectual person in pursuing inner enlightenment these nuts. Mm, I don't know if I can, friend. I really tried to think about how I can these nuts hippie, but unfortunately it doesn't work, dude. Thank you for joining us and for asking, though. Holy shiz, it's the king of the north. It's the king of the north, friend. Dur, 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 dur. Like I keep making jokes about the whole Kit Harrington thing. And for some reason, now there is this consolidated joke in my head where I imagine, that big, hairy, dark and like it looks dirty, suit that he was wearing to like keep himself warm. And like I can guarantee you they weren't bathing on the wall, So I'm just imagining like layer after layer of like sweat and skin like gathering on the inside of his clothes and then his clothes basically becoming a living entity and then like having a respiratory function, breathing and producing even more heat. So there's this symbiotic relationship that happens. And I was like, nah, no more symbiotic relationship with my clothes. I need to get to a place where it's warm. And here I am. Thank you for joining us, Fred. Poppy flowers are beautiful. I haven't actually seen poppy flowers in person. Do you own GameStop stock? Unfortunately, I don't, Inva. How cool would it have been? Herpas, do you ever get anxious about things you cannot control? Yes. Yes, I do, friend. All the time, actually. But only until I notice. And then I'm like, oh yeah, why? Why am I doing this? Does it help? No? Stop. Jotsna, how's the north? It's good, friend. We're keeping it safe. I think more myself. Martin Hager would call this throwness. Okay, thank you, El Gringo. A bloody Lady Blood song. Thank you for the wholesome friend. Exactly. We have the ability to think for ourselves, but the world tries so hard to narrate our lives for us. There we go. That's the point I'm trying to like hit on. Media, family, career, all trying to pull us this way or that. Ultimately, we have to try to take it all with a grain of salt. And it's more difficult than we give ourselves credit for, right? Like it's like these layers of bias that have been like applied over our awareness for decades, like to the point where you can literally not even see the original awareness that was there. You don't even have the ability to think an original thought because all of the things you're thinking has been these layers that have been applied over you. Thank you, friend. So just being willing to hear that and think about it, doesn't have to change. You don't have to change, but hearing it can help, can give you a little bit of insight. I get another month and then I will probably stop for the time being. I need to start saving for my car and to take care of some things in life. Kartha, you being willing to support me, friend, even for a single day, is more than I could ever have asked for. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Came here for the Isaac comment. Hope everyone is feeling well. Aunt B, it's so nice to have you here. Thank you for joining us, my friend. This guy smells his own farts. Do I mean, don't we all technically smell our own farts? Or unless you like straight up run away, like you fart somewhere and then you like just bolt, just like run away as fast as possible. Maybe then you would not smell your own farts. Please consider supporting Melt on Patreon. $1 can make a big difference. That it can. And thank you, Ryan, for taking this as an opportunity to share love with me as well. We do have a Patreon, friends. If you're like wondering how it is I'm doing this every day, I'm doing it with your friends' support. And even though I'm doing this every day, I think of this as something that I want to give without expecting anything in return. And I never wanted this to be something that I expect anything from you friends, for doing. So I created a narrative, a story for myself, how I could accept your Patreon money. And it's by creating flowers. So what it is I'm wearing right now, I'm going to take this with the geometry of 5 today and I'm going to fold it into a flower, and then I'm going to present said flower to you. And I do that every single day, and for as little as $1 at Patreon/Meltmore, you get to see all of them. Like you get to see about 124 of the works of art I've made, if like for a single dollar, and then you can cancel it if you want to. But hopefully, just hopefully, you'll be willing to support me. Like we're like this close to actually meeting a cost of living per month. In South Africa, cost of living is a little bit cheaper. So I need, how much was it? $500? Yeah, $500 a month. I'll be able to eat food, pretty pretty reliably. But you friends being in this moment with me is support enough. So thank you for that as well. I appreciate it. And thank you for giving me an opportunity. I appreciate that, Brother Isaac. Nope, Brother Ryan. Bethany, I'm guarding my focus by hanging out here to listen today. Thank you, Natalie, for joining us here, for like spending a moment of calm. It's also sad how hard it is to change the curriculum or narrative once some fact has been established to be true. Once we've found legit proof it is not so. Like it's ridiculous to me that that is the case, Like even once we believe something, so well, at least this is the way I'm interpreting what you're saying, Melita. Once we believe something, even if we are provided evidence that the thing we're believing is in fact not true, we'll refuse to change our belief systems, Like the fact that that happens with our thinking, like we're unwilling to think about certain things because it doesn't fit the narrative of what we're supposed to be thinking. That is the thing that like boggles my mind. Like how is that even true? How is that even possible that we're unwilling to think about certain things when they don't fit the narrative of the things we're supposed to be thinking? And I see that more than I can even like vocalize in this moment. It's crazy. Thank you for the love, Visla. You sound like you could do a good no ho, Hank. Hmm. I don't know what that is supposed to be. I'm guessing it is vulgar, but because I don't know, I'm going to assume that I'm actually bad at giving no ho Hanks. What is no ho Hanks? Like the inner child in me is like, oh, oh, oh. Thank you for joining us nonetheless. I love that you're taking the seat of teacher while accepting that you're still a student, Mel. Beautiful balance, and I love watching you evolve. Thank you. You friends helped me grow on B, and I can only grow once I admit that I still have growing to do, right? Like if I ever assume that I'm done growing, I don't think I ever will be done growing. That's one of the beauties of embracing infinity. You realize within infinity, you are always ceaseless. You will always, in a place where you can learn something. You're always in a place where you can observe something. You get to learn. Like this experience is so freaking cool. And life is such a beautiful teacher. Why wouldn't you want to attend class? Are you going to Midsommar with me? I don't know where Midsommar is, but I would like to go. Like I've heard some good things, friend. Thank you for asking, Stone. Unfortunately, I live in South Africa, so it's a bit far. Morning, Uncle Becky. This is deep because I'm 14. Hmm. I wonder what it is about the 14-year-old mindset that take significance from things. I feel like at 14, you start to almost, see the world a little bit more from your own perspective. You try to start thinking for yourself at 14. At least I believe And then in this attempt to start thinking for yourself, you gain information, and then that information feels deep because it's something that you've now gained for yourself or something that you found, right? And it's something that resonated with you in that moment. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Thank you for joining us, love. Our intuition tends to guide us in the right direction, but we have to allow it. So true. I have to listen and follow your intuition sometimes as well. Coming back to the instincts of yesterday. Thank you for the silver extra pop. Show me who you're listening to, and I'll show you who you're becoming. Ooh, ooh. Yo, Captain. What a cool thing that is to say, friend. Show me who you're listening to, and I'll show you who you're becoming. Yo, dude, I love that so much because as soon as I read those words, my mind renders, all of the people that I've been listening to for the last bit. And you friends are unironically the people that I've been listening to the most. And you friends are so loving and so beautiful. I'm happy to be becoming. Thank you so much for sharing that. I got a point where I truly felt it didn't matter at all. I'm just here to do for others, but I'm practicing taking care of my needs as well, even first sometimes. I'm happy to hear that, Aunt B. You deserve that, my friend. What are you even saying? Loaf, you just have to listen, friend. Like what I'm saying is not what's important. What you're feeling is what's important. Like this whole stream is about that. Don't listen to a word I'm saying. You think for yourself. You need to hear my words, be like, yeah, actually, that was a lot of nonsense. And you get to think that. And I'm encouraging that, friend. Even if you think every single word coming out of my mouth is nonsense, you get to think that for yourself. And that's what I'm encouraging. What he believes. That's right. Worldly assumptions. Hey to you, friend. We've missed you. Thank you for joining us again. You're saying so much just to say, think for yourself. Yeah, love. And you're saying a bunch of BS to do the exact same. We're not that different. We're not that different at all, Fred. Even if others tell me how much I don't care about them because I haven't fulfilled their top need, doesn't mean I haven't taken care of so many other things for not only them, but so many others. It is very challenging to care so much. Oh, Aunt B, that is too real. That is too real with what I'm going through right now in my life, especially with the whole gaslighting thing that I mentioned. Yeah, too real. Thank you, Aunt B, for sharing that with us. You are perfectly in tune. Dude, what the hell? You look so much like my best friend's brother. Insane. Weirdly enough, like multiple people have told me that recently, that I remind them of their brother, or a best friend's brother. Like my brother even told me that I remind him of his best friend's brother. So many layers, dude. Thank you for joining us and for seeing some synchronicities. Where are you? I'm in South Africa, friend. This dude is literally repeating himself over and over in different ways. You as well, Loaf. You're literally doing the exact same thing. Like, don't you see the irony? Try listening instead of resisting, and you'll understand what he's saying. Just be chill. Thank you. Invert. I appreciate you feeling into the energy. Dude is baked. I'm actually sober right now, friend. Thank you though for like giving me the freedom to be goofy as if I'm baked. Good day, chat friends. Remember to be respectful of yourself and others. Thank you so much, Aunt B, for sharing love. Well, you're amazing. I was never able to just free my thoughts on the world. Thank you, extra pop. Like the question that's coming to my mind is, do you need to? Do you need to free your thoughts of the world? Like we are in this world to have thoughts about it as well. And it's completely okay to have thoughts, even if those thoughts are thoughts that have been had before. But I feel, if anything, I'm just trying to lean into the encouragement of thinking thoughts, allowing yourself to share those thoughts, even if they might not be according to the narrative, right? Like talking about aliens, talking about, magnetic fields, talking about the nature of consciousness, talking about the nature of consciousness within animals, within trees, within plants. Like these conversations in certain scenarios are not accepted or tolerated. We're not allowed to think about these things and share our thoughts about them because we cannot know. So, because we cannot know, you shouldn't be thinking about it. But why? You know, like, why is it like that? Why do people have such a resistance to thinking about things they can't understand? Like, there is so much we cannot understand. If we stop thinking about everything we can't understand, we would just stop thinking altogether. We deserve to discuss these things as well. You deserve to friend, but the point is not to stop thinking about the world. The point is just to allow yourself to think whatever it is you might be thinking and to share from your truth what it is you might be thinking. I've been noticing how hard it actually is not to repeat yourself in the same circle of meeting of the same people. And a similar thing happens when I'm alone as well. And you know what's interesting, Melita? You know, and like a part of myself has a little bit of resistance, or is it resistance? Tension, maybe is a better word. Tension when a friend in chat is like, oh, you're just saying the same thing over and over again. Yes. Do you think I'm the first one who ever said these things? No. There, I can guarantee you no. We have been, as we are, human beings for thousands of years. We've had conversations like this thousands of times. It's not about you shouldn't be saying the same thing, you shouldn't be thinking the same thing over and over again. It's just in allowing yourself a space in which you can think, and you can think authentically, you can think for yourself, even if the thoughts might be the same, right? Like in this moment, we have a resolute thought, the thought that love is true. And then around that thought, we build. We create, you know, like perspective. We share ideas about what it means to be thinking for ourselves. And then we have a conversation about that. And how can we ever grow if we don't have these conversations? Even though these conversations might have been had, even though you might have had this exact same conversation, you are no longer the same person you were when you had that original conversation. And upon hearing this conversation again, you can gain new insight, you can gain new feeling, you can have a new experience. It's okay. It is okay. It's completely okay. I'm wondering how hormones influence the way we think and think for ourselves. Goodness. Like, that is a can of worms that I would love to get into right now, because it changes. For instance, if you have more serotonin in your brain, you think grateful thoughts. It's easier to think grateful thoughts if you have more serotonin in your brain. It's easier to have direction or I want to do this thoughts when you have more dopamine in your brain. It's easier to have that thought when you have more oxytocin in your brain. Like, these things influence our decision making and thinking, absolutely, Shannon. Like, I wish we understood that stuff a little bit better. And I think as we are continuing into our future, we'll actually have some tools to be able to understand that stuff a little bit more thoroughly. The Westerners are preferred to think about yourself, themselves more, right? Yeah, pretty much done. But it's a you should think of yourself as limited, and you should think of the world as scarce, or resources as scarce, and then because of you as limited nature, as limited individual, and the world as limited as well, you know, scarce, it creates this narrative of like there's only this way to do things, you know. And if there's any striving away from this idea of, oh, the me that needs to be satiated over and over again, and the me that wants to keep collecting, the me that wants to keep eating past the point where my body has had enough food, the me that wants to, you know, do things that do not serve me, that is where, you know, these not thinking for yourself narratives keep coming back over and over again. He's putting a lot of truth, to be honest. Thank you again, Invert. This is beautiful. No, you, friend. No, you, man. Like, I think I've heard maybe 30 gunshots today. Dude, you just expressed the free thought by typing that. You're thinking way too into it. Thank you, Fred, for sharing that love as well, love. Bro, you are literally repeating yourself over and over, just saying things for yourself. And that is now the third time in a row that you sent the exact same message, friend. We are not that different, love. It takes a lot of time and development to be truly at peace with yourself and your own principles. That it does invert. And the only way to do that is to start doing it, you know? And it's a joke almost. Like, you can only be where you want to be if you show up to be there. And we have these ideas, we have these fantasies of where it is we want to be, who it is we want to be, where it is we want to go, what it is we want to do. And we're like, yeah, that sounds amazing. I'm thinking about that. But then we don't do it. We don't show up for those things. And then in not showing up for those things, we create this potentiality, this negative potentiality where the longer you don't do the things you know you're supposed to be doing, the harder it becomes to do them, because now you have this thought process attached to it of like, oh, I should be, could have, well, I spend so much time not, just noticing how you're thinking, friend. She's all country. I don't know what that means, intimidator. But I appreciate the love, friend. People that help me be my best self also help me justify bad decisions because they just want me to be happy. You see? Oh, like, oh man, the infinities. Eden, thank you for sharing that. So insightful. Next, Socrates. Thank you, friend. I appreciate the love. Thank you for manifesting with me. Hormones truly influence a lot physiologically, psychophysically. Oh, yes, it does. That is what I thought. Absolutely. I just wish, you know, like we had. I mean, we do. I do believe we do have tools to actually be like control that stuff. But unfortunately, the tools are so like beaten into the ground. Like it's you have to eat properly, you have to exercise, you have to have good hygiene, you have to go to bed at an appropriate hour, you have to hydrate. Like I would add meditation onto it as well. I'd add exercise onto it as well. I'd add conversation or showing up in spaces where you can listen to conversation onto it as well. And if we do all of these things, as difficult as they may be sometimes, we feel better for it. And when we feel better, we think better thoughts. We have a better narrative of what's going on with us and with the world, and it makes us happier. Part of that is how can you know what's best for you? If people look at the sky, you look too. Everyone would assume that there is a set path, whether it's the right path, assuming that it works for others. Surely you aren't that different. Stone cold. I get what you're saying, friend. And I don't actually want to identify as different, because we're all the same awareness living through the bodies that we find ourselves in right now. But if you look at the quality of life, if you look at the amount of divorces, if you look at the amount of suicides, if you look at the amount of prescription medication abuse or just opioid abuse in our world right now, clearly something is not working. Why? Maybe, just maybe, the way we've been thinking is not serving us. And that's what I'm getting at. Not saying that you need to change, just pondering, like, what about this? What do you think about it? What do you feel about it? What do you think should change? Should you change? I know something about that myself. I can feel that as well. Thank you, Extra Pop. All you need is love. That's true. Valkalor Tahoe. I don't know if it's the same Tahoe, but thank you for joining us, friend. One is deep, friend. I feel that. Thank you for sharing that love as well. The smaller my circle has become, the more at peace I've become. Whew. Choosing friends, friend. Like I feel that completely. Give in or push and flow, Schmurky. I believe Sensane was here, at least for a while. Nudges, our little Sensane. But you can't prevent change. Change is the only constant. It's the only thing that you cannot prevent. There will be change. No matter what you do, there will be change. You can only try, but change is inevitable. Oh, yes, it is. And it's beautiful. Like, if there was no change, this life would be so stale and boring. Like, change is one of the parts that makes infinity beautiful because it changes. It's infinity, sure, but it's not a set infinity. It's like, oh, okay, cool, infinity. Now what? No, it's like infinity. And you get like, and then we calm ourselves down. we limit our ability to perceive so that we can experience this change a little bit more gently. Oof, hoping to catch a wind of motivation today, but even finishing breakfast, still in PJs, not much work done. Isaac is in trouble. Isaac, not in trouble. You're here, dude. You're aware. You're paying attention to these things, to these thoughts that you're having about what it is you're supposed to be doing. And from that awareness, I'm sure you will be able to get done what is expected. Thank you so much. I think I want to just add that as a little bit of a side note. Write down, if you can, or just do it in your head, what is expected. What do you expect of yourself in a day? Oh, I expect myself to have good hygiene. I expect myself to exercise. I expect myself to try and eat a good meal. I expect myself, to try and be productive a little bit, at least for an hour today. And then you follow through on those expectations and you'll see your life change for it. Maybe it's burned into us out of fear of hell. Yeah, maybe bother why bother separate when we are a group creatures? I hear you, Stone. I hear you, friend, and I agree with the fear of hell. We as a society have created such a narrative of separation that it's almost impossible for us to think anything else. I have to really assess: do they care about my well-being, my goals, and what I want to achieve? It requires self-discipline. It does, Aunt B. I try to adapt the opposite thoughts. Society, there we go. Uncle Becky trying to think for himself extra hard. Be like, okay, society thinks like so. How can I not think that way? And I believe that's the only way we're going to turn this world around. The way that we've been doing things is not the way we should be doing things. I cannot imagine one person. Maybe they will be, what, you want to do it? Like, fine, do it. Maybe there will be one person that's like, no, things are perfect. Things are supposed to be this way. I want it to continue this way. Oh, inflation, 8% inflation per year. Yeah, yeah, it's okay. So it should be that way. Yeah, it's fine. Printing half of all the currency that the country has in 2 years. Yeah, should be that way. Excuse me? Think for yourself. Plus medical flower and therapy, that helps. It can. It can if you wanted to. I admire your tenacity, brother. Coming here, talking about spirituality and living a good life, somewhere unemployed. Cheers. Yeah, that's one thing that I should let you friends know as well. I used to be employed. I used to earn a good salary. At least according to South Africa, I was earning more in China than a professional, a veteran teacher earns, at the end of their lives. I was earning 1,000 something dollars in China while I was teaching English. And I've never seen that much money in my entire life. And I was like, oh, sick, now I have money. And then I started buying things. And then after buying things, I was like, oh, okay, now I have to buy things. And then I bought things. And I was like, okay, these things are like, sure, they're nice, but I'm not any happier for it. Maybe if I buy something more expensive, maybe that will make me happy. And then I buy something more expensive. And then I just create more thoughts, more separation mentality of like, oh, this thing, I paid so much money for it. And now I'm not using it as much as I could have, as much as I should have. Na 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 na. And that way of living was poisoning me. It was like ruining my experience. And I came back from China and I spent a month and a half pretty much, really thinking what comes next. And I committed to doing this, friend. Choosing not to have a job, choosing to do this instead of working a job that I can earn money for myself. It's I literally bet my entire life on what it is I know is true. This understanding of love and wanting to share that love. I feel the most equipped to do good when I'm amongst other people. But I cannot expect other people to accommodate me indefinitely. So now, sitting in the middle of nowhere on a farm somewhere, living with my parents, I'm allowed to do what I was put here to do. And I know through this journey, I will be allowed the abundance to actually do the things that I want to do and afford the things that I want to afford. But that is no longer my goal. Having shifted from a goal of, okay, if I make this much money, then I'll be happy. If I have these things, then I'll be happy. It's not how it works. It's the way the world wants you to think, because people that think things buying things is going to make them happy keeps buying things. We cannot keep thinking that way. We cannot keep thinking that way. We have to adjust our understanding of, scarcity, of unity, of this world we find ourselves in. We cannot continue thinking the way that we've been expected to. Yeah, Peppy? Have you heard of hurry up and wait? Yeah, sure, establish. In my family, that seems to be a reoccurring theme. Medicinal flower has literally changed my life. Interestingly enough, mine too. Inverted. Like I was on a bunch of antidepressants when I was in my teens. Extremely depressed. I tried to commit suicide twice even. And I was supposed to succeed, but apparently I wasn't ready to die just yet. And during that time of my life, I couldn't sleep. I was like eating just to like fill the void. I was hurtful, towards others because I was hurting. And I was just creating more pain in the world. And I started smoking weed, and I could sleep properly for the first time. And when I could sleep properly, I could feel better. And when I could feel better, I was less hurtful. And I was less hurtful towards others, and then others were less hurtful towards me. So I started gaining a sense of love for myself. And then as soon as I developed a love for myself, I started exercising. And when I started exercising, I started feeling even better. I started feeling even more abundant with this energy of love. And then I could be even more lovingly. And cannabis was a catalyst for that, but it wasn't the ultimate thing. You are capable of all of these things without cannabis. It's just about showing up. Just about showing up for yourself, believing that it's possible, believing that feeling better is possible, believing that you can be happy is where it starts. Thank you, friend. What is a thought? That's a good question, friend. That's a good question. What is a thought? Can thoughts be wordless? Can a tree have a thought, for example? I would like to think so. I actually would like to think that trees can have thoughts. I do believe that animals can, but it might be rudimentary. What gives a thought significance? Is it truth? Is it love, being able to be found in that thought? Is that what gives it significance? I don't know, friend. But thank you for asking that question. Thinking without thought? What do you mean? I don't know what I mean. That's the beauty of it, friend. But it made you think something, right? That's the point of it. That is the fundamental point of it. I must leave now. Kind thoughts to you all. Thank you for joining us for even a moment, Natalie. Go and think for yourself, friend. I know you will. Sending you so much love. Funny when the world crashes and people can sit around, get high, and buy junk food at the local Quickie Mart. It is kind of a contrast, huh? What a trippy contrast. Like there is actual suffering happening on our planet right now. People sitting, cities getting carpet bombed, and yet I get to have this moment of quiet silence right now. And I can choose to lament and hate myself and create a sense of tension because, oh, how dare I be happy? How dare I be safe? How dare I so and so when others are not? But the fact that you are safe, the fact that you are secure, the fact that you are in this moment instead of being in that moment means that you're supposed to be here, means that you're supposed to embrace the full beauty, the fullness of this moment, for the whole, contributing to the whole. So thank you, Lord, for trying, friend. This is a conversation or a guy preaching. No offense, dude. I'm trying to have a conversation, Stone, but unfortunately, like, the comments at this point is like 38 minutes old, friend. So I'm trying to have a conversation at this point. The first part of the stream is like a little bit of a mini rant, and then at least in a little bit of a variation, I have like a moment of contemplation where we go through the chakras, technically, chakra understanding. And then after that, we start having the conversation, friend. And now I'm having the conversation, but you asked that question 33 minutes ago. So I'm sorry for like taking so long. Thank you for the all seeing upvote, Uncle Becky. Easy to talk wise when you're not in hell. I've been in hell, friend. I've been in hell. Don't you worry, friend. If I wasn't in hell, I wouldn't be able to walk in the light right now. Thinking without the worry of thought, freeing yourself from the concern of what others would think of your own perception or morality. Thank you for that, inverted. Beautifully said, friend. Hell is going to look different for everyone, friend. Oh, yes. That's a beautiful point as well, Aunt B. Have a nice day. Thank you for sharing love to Natalie. What do you do for a living? Zealous ideal. This is what I do for a living, friend. I'm going to, I'm busy rather, becoming a yoga teacher as well. So I'm going to start giving yoga, to make more of a living because I'm not making quite a living just yet. But that's not the point. This is what I'm meant to do. And I'm now just adding layers to be able to do this as this thing I can do, right? Like, you friends can support me as well, but I cannot expect completely for you friends to support me in this journey. Even though it will be supported, this journey will be supported. I know it is as a fact in my heart. It's just a matter of time. And as I can be a little bit impatient, I didn't want to wait completely until this space realizes abundance for itself. So I'm adding more layers, more frequencies of abundance in my life. Thank you for asking, friend, for caring so much. Exactly. Sometimes they show love in ways that can hurt us. Ultimately, we have to have the final say. Don't get gaslit, Eden. You are loved, friend. You deserve to think things and feel things. Isn't Buddhism another way of teaching people to think correctly, though? I don't know. I didn't really like religion as a whole because I believe, rather, religion is when a bunch of people agree on what God is, where spirituality is the pursuit of what God is. And Buddhism, I feel, is closer to spirituality than it is to religion. It's technically a godless religion, right? And I feel like there's a lot of valuable teaching in the Buddhist religion as well. But unfortunately, with every single religion, with it comes dogma. And that is something that I fight against, trying to think for myself, if you will. Here for you, brother. Thank you so much for that, Inverted. I appreciate you reaching out. Knowledge is not for everyone. Unfortunately, it's not, friend. And it's supposed to be that way as well. After jumping from a 9-meter balcony, I'd say I know a different hell than this hippie. You probably do, friend. You probably do, but I didn't have to jump from a 9-meter balcony. I opted for pills. I took enough, twice the recommended dosage for death. And like, you don't do something like that if you're not suffering, if you're not living in a state of hell where, as you're going through your day to day, as you're sitting in a class and you're feeling like your mind is being numbed by listening to this individual teach something that they don't understand. They're just regurgitating this information at you, and then in that state being like, I want to die, I want to die, like, I would rather die than be here. I want to die. I want to kill myself. I want to die. And then living in that state of existence for years, to the point where you eventually choose to you do that. Like, if that's not hell, friend, then I don't know what is. And I don't have to jump from a 9-meter balcony and break my legs to be in that state of hell, friend. Like, having something broken inside of you, having this sense of separation inside of you, to the point where you have convinced yourself that you are unloved, that you are uncared for, that you are worthless, that you are nothing within this whole. That is hell, dude. That is literally hell. That is what hell means to me. It's that separation. A job is a beautiful thing if you do a one from for yourself. Exactly, friend. And this is a job that I've thought I want to do. And instead of asking permission, like, oh, can I do this job, did it. I just did it, friend. I just did it. You can do it as well. Think for yourself. Don't listen to what other people tell you. Like, it's so beautiful to me as well, because we have so many colorful perspectives in stream today. Oh, I remember you're supposed to do it this way. Dude, don't you understand that you are literally the problem? Like, you're literally who I'm addressing, talking about the subject of not thinking for yourself. If you're perpetuating these ideas of like, this is how you're supposed to do things. Oh, you're supposed to be so and so. And if you're not so and so, then you are not a value to society. You are worthless. You are nothing. Again, then you're creating more separation in other people, friend. Allow people to be themselves. Thank you, Him Connell. I agree completely, friend. Job or a passion for knowledge? Both. Thank you, friend, for being in this with me. Sometimes we spend our whole lives fishing, only to discover at the end it wasn't fish we were after. Mark Twain. We were after calm. At least that's why I believe people fish. They're after that calm awareness. Speaking straight facts. Thank you, friend. Like, I want to preface this as well. I could have said it like 50 times before. The reason you are hearing straight facts, you are feeling a sense of truth, is not because I am, super enlightened and I get all of this information and I know something that you don't. You know this. I'm just vocalizing it. And then upon you hearing it, you're like, I feel that. And that is where the value is in you thinking for yourself. Pretty tree behind you, right? It's so beautiful, dude. This is one of my favorite trees. Thank you for loving on him well. Loving on him as well. Or her. Is it a her? Might be a her. She has flowers. Speaking straight facts. As someone with PTSD and chronic depression, I've been in that hole, friend. I feel it as well. Thank you, Inverted. I like today's topic. Thank you for resonating with it. Worldly assumptions. So much love to you, friend. Dang, friend. I hope you found some healing. That's crazy. It really is. Lisa, thank you for joining us. So nice to have you here. Sorry to hear you're in hell. We're here for you, friend. You'd be surprised, though, what he's been a similar story, as do I. Like, I feel a lot of us has gone through that as well. And thinking that someone else cannot understand what it is you're going through, again, causes you to be separate. Same. So much love is being shared. Peace is different for everyone. The importance is to learn who you are. There is no right way. Beautiful point established. Thank you for joining us and for sharing that truth. Would like to hear a story. Sup, dog? Can't slip. Sing me a song. Sword noob. Goodness. Do I know any songs? For some reason, the Singing in the Rain song comes to mind. I'm singing in the rain. I'm singing in the rain. What a wonderful day to be singing in the rain. I hope you get to sleep. I hope. I don't know what rhymes with sleep. Steep? Ooh. I hope the sleep is deep. What a wonderful thing for you to be here now. Thank you for joining us, dude. I hope I probably woke you up even more, but I hope that was what you wanted, friend. Thank you for prompting me. Do you do you mind sharing more of yours? How long ago was the incident? Thank you for sharing, and for caring enough to ask. I appreciate that, Aunt B. You look like a spiritual Samwise Gamgee? Dude, I'm butchering that surname. Gamgee? Gamgee. Much love from Richmond, Virginia. Thank you so much, Bung. I appreciate you sharing some love. You so negative. It's okay, Space. Love is true, friend. Hello, friend. Haven't been on your live in a long time. You always vibrate. Hi, brother. Continue that, sir. Align your chakras. I remember you actually, friend. Thank you. I will continue. No matter how many perspectives, how many people try to gaslit me, I am going to allow myself to think for myself and I'm going to show up for this thing that I thought. You know, like it was a thought, then it was something I said, then it was something I did. And if I allowed myself, if I asked permission to think something, if I asked permission in saying something, if I asked permission in doing something, then this would not be done. So don't do you. You better do you. This is actually a thing. Being able to put yourself in another person's point of view. Oh yes, absolutely establish. That's the thing. That's the point. Sad man saying thinking from others' perspective is so difficult. Even communication is so difficult. It's true. And the communication I feel is one of the best skills that we can really teach ourselves. Have a good day. I'm so high and I love it so much. I'm happy to hear you're having a good time, friend. Like I'm doing my job. Thank you. Thank you for your validation. I appreciate it. Thank you for the wholesome snoo. I appreciate the love, friend. To feel comfortable or confident in my own opinion and decisions, I must hear out all sides. It absolutely can be, especially when we view it so differently. But it is really important if we want to connect with others. Beautiful point, Aunt B. Hippies think for themselves but dress the same as other hippies and have the same recreational activities. Interesting point, Basher. It is an interesting point you're making. But human beings dress themselves. Like there's only that many ways you can dress yourself, right? There's only that many activities to partake in recreationally. And certain activities, certain ways of dressing resonate more with the truth that is on our hearts than the truth that is being projected at us. So, upon becoming a hippie, you're more likely to do these things because they're non-conforming. They're not according to what the reality or the society expects of you. So it's an act of standing against the status quo. I'm from the U.S., so I don't know if this is the same names there, but what you're saying reminds me of the dialect behavior therapy class that I took. Oh, really cool, Orgy. Oh goodness, thank you for joining us, friend. I appreciate the love you share and for like hearing something that I didn't even know I was saying. How trippy is that? Just bought a workbook. Freaking love it, and definitely aligns with what Mel practices. Thank you, on B. I appreciate that love so much. With enough practice, even when in hell, we can maintain our wisdom and remain grounded. My moments of hell gave me an opportunity to use what I've learned up until that point to grow beyond that current hell. Who needs tears? You said it so beautifully, friend. Thank you. Please, new friends, try to open your mind to the idea that you can have a unique, unconventional thought and ideas without being high. You might even want to try it sometime. Eden. Poke poke. Thank you for that, friend. We have Lean Breakfast saying there's no such thing as individual agency. Everything we do is a product of our experiences and genetics. That is the point I'm trying to make as well, friend. To notice that part of ourselves, to notice what we might be thinking because of that pattern, and then to try and think something outside of that, even if you're just trying, just to try. Legendary Melt, legendary Aunt B. Thank you for joining me, friend, and for sharing so much love. Like I cannot tell you like how warm my heart gets to see Mrs. Boop the Snoot in chat. Yes, yes, sorry for preaching bitterness. Love you all. I'm fine now in life, just collecting pieces like a puzzle. That is literally why my name is Meltmore, friend. It's like taking these different pieces and then melting them back into myself, melting away that which doesn't serve me and melting into me that which does. I understand, Pelion. I really do, friend. I was there as well. Know that you don't have to stay there. And I know that you're not there anymore, but you get to continue into infinity. Thank you for choosing that instead of being stuck in this moment. If that's what you think, then so it is. You know. Love and stuff all around. Tahoe to you too, friend. Fashion. Thank you for joining us, friend. It's nice to have you here. Lisa, good morning to you. Talking is still different than experiencing them. Yeah, I agree, Pelion. But we have to speak before we can know that there is something to be experienced, right? Like if I come into the house, like maybe there is, uh, what example can I make that is going to be relatable? Maybe there is a person outside doing magic tricks, very cool magic tricks. And then I see this person doing magic tricks, and I go into the house or into the building, and I'm like, hey, there is this cool dude doing magic tricks outside. And then we can go, both of us can go outside and we can observe, we can experience the magic tricks being done. But if I wasn't allowing myself to say something, if I didn't talk, then how would we ever be allowed that experience? And it's the same for this. Last night, my little night light bulb was going out, and I instantly thought of the magnet story melt. It was buzzing and flickering. Little, you know, waves, magnetic waves. I wonder. if the magnetic waves were like being interrupted, or if they were just creating turbulence or like multiple magnetic waves, and then within those crossings there is like disturbances or noise. Thank you for sharing that, friend. I don't know if I was even correct, but it made me think and feel some things. Remember the quote: the mark of an intelligent mind is the ability to entertain an idea without needing to accept it as a truth. Think for yourself. Think with your divine creativity. Jovan, thank you for remembering and for leaning into that truth as well. Sometimes I just resonate differently for me, so I enjoy repeating things that could be helpful for me or someone new. Me too, Aunt B. And it's perfectly okay to do that, because every single time you share it, even if the people you're sharing it with have heard it 1,000 times before, in that moment they're going to be a new individual. If it pisses them off that they're hearing this information again, they get to feel that they get to be aware and address that parts of themselves of like, why am I getting pissed off upon hearing this information again? Is there something in me that feels it's not integrating this information? Is there something in me that feels I'm not living the truth of this information? Is there something in me that feels I am and I shouldn't be hearing it anymore, because if I'm hearing it, the universe is trying to tell me I should be doing it? Like, there's so much to be learned, even if you're having the same experience over and over again. And that's why meditation is one of those things. Like, you're sitting and doing nothing over and over and over and over again, right? You're doing the same thing, but there every single time you do the same thing, there is a different experience to be had from that. So thank you, friend, for sharing. Always one of my favorite quotes. Thank you so much for like leaning into that one as well, Fash. Oh, that's the good stuff. Oh, yes. I'm interested what you do in Africa all this time that you have been there. Well, I was a former child, and then after turning 18 and finishing high school, I got into a relationship and then moved to Pretoria, like a close city. And then I was working as a salesman for about a year. I met someone. I The relationship ended that I was in. I met someone at a modeling runway, and I exchanged numbers with her. And I told her that I'm interested in her, and she was like, she's interested in me as well, but she's heading to China. And then she did. And then by the end of the year, I told her that I was looking for a new job because the sales position was no longer serving me. And then I moved to China to become an English teacher, and then I did that, and then I came back from China, and now I'm doing this, friend. I'm still young. I haven't done too many things, but I appreciate you asking, friend. This is sexy. Perfect. The mark of an intelligent mind. It really is. I love that quote. It will take a few minutes for him to get to your comment as he reads everyone's, but he will definitely respond. Thank you, Aunt B. I'm trying to. Hey, Kira Burr finally joined us. So nice to have you here, friend. Hola, amigos, says Helio. I like to point about culture and how that impacts our everyday interactions with ourselves and others. Yeah, thank you for bringing that as a point. I appreciate that so much, Helio. It influences us more than we even like to give it credit for sometimes. Good to see you. Hi, always happy to see you in stream. Thank you for joining us, Reddit user 007 007 007. It's nice to have you here. Anyone familiar with Dr. Gaber, mate, and his practice? Unfortunately, I'm not, friend. If someone is so set on being different than everyone else, they might find themselves in a delusion simply out of spite. Whew. Oh, yeah. I like that mantra. Thank you so much for feeling into it. I'm indeed hoping you're feeling well. Helping me change my perspective truly. Thank you for the love on beat. I really appreciate you sharing that. Love is true. David, come to the stream. Much love to you. Manifested it. Nice on B. What are some of you your whoa. What are some of your can do's in those moments, if you don't mind me asking? Helping change my perspective. No pressure. Love you, friends. Gotta run on the Monday meeting. Thank you, Jovan, for spending a moment with us today. Sending you love and light. Go and be the expression of love in that meeting. I'm sure you will be. Definitely depends on the moment and situation, but sometimes that is a walk or a stretching on my mat, self massage, a little bit of lotion, allowing myself to get rest. literally any self care, even when others want more from me. Thank you for encouraging us to do that as well, Aunt B. Like allowing yourself a moment of self care and then just sitting with that, thinking for yourself, this feels nice. I should do this more. Thank you. Young Heath Ledger over here. Nice hair, my dude. Thank you. It grows this way out of my head. How how cool is that, dude? Literally, I have these mini 3D printers, biological 3D printers that take nutrients from my body and then layer by layer manufactures hair molecules. What the fuck? What the hell, universe? What a good reminder of these moments that matter, these words that have more weight than gold. You are worth more than gold, Isaac. Thank you, friend, just for being in this moment with me, dude. For being willing to listen to the things I'm having. Like we have a way of saying things in Afrikaans. Dinge kwytraak. It's like I don't know how to translate it directly. Actually, it's like you. It's like you say things, but it's almost like you say things from a place of ignorance, a little bit, right? Like a little bit of ignorance, just like a little. Like I don't know. I don't actually know, but I'm trying to lean into this feeling of thinking for ourselves. Sometimes admitting that you don't know is where it starts. A lot of times it's bossing up for the farm or the family chores, even if I don't have help, and being self disciplined, knowing that my choice to care and share love despite what others choose to do. Whew! Aunt B, you are an inspiration to all of us. Thank you for just like even if none of us actually do the thing that it is you just said, those words are now in us, a part of us. We can now feel into this reality of doing the things that needs to be done even when nobody else wants to, even when nobody wants to even, look at you while you're doing it. Dare they admit, dare they say thank you, and still showing up for it nonetheless. Thank you, Aunt B. Oh my God, Melt, you have a lovely mix of humiliant, humiliant and feomilian. Yes, yes, yeah, of course. I know those words. Yes. Hugh Milan, Hugh Milanen, Few Milanen, Hugh Milanen, Few Milanen. Okay, she's fine. Little kitty was jumping about, so agile. I don't know what that means, Isaac. I appreciate the compliment, but I do not know what those words mean. So please allow me to think in a new way. What does humalanen and fumalanen mean? Maybe I'm just reading it incorrectly and I'm stupid or something. I wouldn't put it past myself. Oh, thank you though, dude. I appreciate the love, man. Thank you so so much. Pet, oh kitty kids. Let me go and get the little kitty. Come, your little kitty. There you go. There you go, kitty kitty. Yeah, kitty kitty. Look at this little sweetie pie. You comfy there? You want to be on the neck? Or you want to go to the lap? Woo! On your own adventures. Have a good one, little kitty. Like they think for themselves, right? Like that little kitty has a mission. It's like, yeah, thanks and all, but peace. Yo me lanen. Yo melanen and feo melanen. The more you know. Yo melanen and feo melanen. I'm gonna learn something new today. We're gonna gain a new way of thinking. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. Thank you, brother Isaac. Like please do, send me the definitions as well. Moj the comment here. Oops. That helps me feel some peace when I know I need to take care of myself first, even if that disappoints others' needs and expectations. It's hard for me. It can be, won't be. Oh goodness, I'm noticing that in myself as well. Okay, so here's what it means: the two kinds of melanin. Your Goodness. Oh, melanin. It's melanin. Like it's goodness, dude. I am stupid, just like a little bit stupid. You know, there's like so much stupid. It's melanin, and like your skin produces melanin as well, and depending on how much melanin your skin produces, it gets darker or lighter. Your melanocytes produce in hair. Eumelanin is dark brown, pheomelanin is red. Our little factory of melanin produces our own unique mixture, giving our hair color. Blondes have very little of either. Redheads have almost no eumelanin. There we go. Now we know. Thank you for that, Brother Bear. Okay, I didn't actually know that. I knew that there were different pigments. There were like red pigments and there were like brown and black pigments, and there was a lack of those pigments in white hair. But I didn't know the names for them, and I didn't know that I had a mix. I guess there's like a little bit of red in my hair, right? Thank you, Brother Bay, for teaching me, for allowing me to think in a new fractal. I appreciate it so much. Like I get to see what I was thinking, just to like tell you. Like I was like thinking into the mind of Isaac. Like Isaac works with hair. He's a hairdresser. He actually gets to speak to people, and while doing so, he gets to give them a makeover. And that is his fractal. And now, even though he was just sharing a little bit of his thinking with me, I got to live into his fractal. I appreciate that, Brother Bear. I'm curious, what has made the hell in your life, if I may ask? Separation, Lisa. I know that might be a little bit of a cop out answer, but that is what it was. Where I felt like I was separate from my family. I felt like I was separate from my father and the love that I was expecting from him. I was separate from who I thought I was versus who I was perceived to be. Like there was so many layers of separation that caused me to feel into that hell. Thank you for asking, Lisa. Hey, look who it is. It's Katie herself. Thank you for joining us. Beloved friend, it's nice to have you here. Love is true. Fash, thank you for sharing love, friend. Goodness. That award, dude. Like it's trippy seeing it at this point. It's something that we've manifested together. That is how some people seem to have some gold hues and others have cold toned hair. Super cool getting to alter and work with the body's melanin. It is actually. Like, and you probably have to take that into consideration when you're like doing like color work for people as well. Yeah, see, Pippi's feet are wet. So she like came and sit on me with her little wet feetsies. There you go. Is that nice and warm? I hope so. Perfect. Now you're here. You have given Miss Friend so much love to you. Thank you for joining us. I'll add, when others know that it is difficult for someone, it's easier to be manipulated and gaslit. So it is taking lots and lots of practice, accepting and forgiveness, and understanding for myself. Like that was a whole topic that we discussed today. This forgiving yourself and the person that I was talking to believing that it's impossible for you to forgive yourself. But yeah. No, 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 so pretty. Sweet bee. You work harder than anyone I've ever met, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Now, know you are seen and loved, and I'm so proud of you. Thank you, Kira Burr, for sharing that, friend. I hope you feel the same for you. Like I feel like there's a bug trying to crawl up my sleeve. I hope you feel the same for you, friend. Like we love and appreciate you so much. Thank you for everything you do. It really is. I didn't even know that was an award. Was looking for the most beautiful one I could find, and it just so happens to be Love is True. Man, I love that so much. Thank you, Fash. Thank you, eternally, friend, for being willing to share so much love. I'm gonna give you an award just because you talk the same things over again. Things are said as long as they are understood deep within. You all help me realize again what's important. Thank you, family. Thank you, Pelion, for knowing, friend. And we knew that you do know, and that's the joke. Every single person who lives into a space of unawareness, they're aware of their unawareness, even though they might be unaware of their awareness of their unawareness. Like there's layers to that as well. We know that you're aware. The most fundamental level of you cannot be anything other than aware. So we're addressing that part of you, and the fact that you're willing to lean back into that part of yourself and share love nonetheless, we appreciate you, Pelion. Thank you, friend. Hey, love you. I love you too. Thank you, Kira Burr, for sharing some love. Oh, yes, it is simple doing color. You're exposing the undertones. If someone has very warm hair, you can expose unwanted amounts of red. Think of it like using markers on construction paper. Depending on the color of the paper and the color of the markers, you might have to alter the tone to get a target result, and it's a whole lot of using the color wheel. Okay. What a trip that is, actually. I didn't even think that you would need a color wheel, but that makes perfect sense. Man, like I've only colored my hair twice. I've colored my hair twice. Once in the end of high school and no, yeah, at the end of high school with like the relationship I was in directly after high school, and then once I was out of that relationship, I colored my hair like a shade of purple, like the 666 red color turns my hair purple, and I carried that. Mm, I'm sad because my girlfriend has cheated on me, bruh. Own weakness. That is fucked up, dude. I'm sorry about that. Know that you're not at fault. You're not the reason she cheated. You're not at a loss. If anything, you knowing and you being able to remove yourself from that relationship might be a gift because now you don't have to, worry about that happening again or worrying about it happening somewhere in your future. Me trying to sprinkle silver linings. You're loved, own weakness. I hope you know that, friend. Thank you for the love your friends are sharing as well. One's want, others want. What others want, especially the last part about what others want, oh, especially that part. Well, I was a former child. Kira Bone. Thank you for acknowledging. I'm so sorry, friend. It's painful. Remember, her actions is not a reflection of you. We love you. Thank you for that, friend. Just for like echoing those words as well. I have to make a decision, trying to think for myself when I think of every single possible way that my thinking can and is influenced externally and internally. It's a lot, Shannon. It really is. Hi, kitty kids. I'm here. Come, come here. Come sit with me. When toning a blonde, you see what tone the client sees, and they don't like most blondes. See a little yellow in their blonde. So you put violet tones at the level of hair. I've known about the whole like purple violet tones thing to like kind of combat the yellowness. Violet being the opposite of yellow, they cancel each other out, equalizing the color, giving them the blonde look. Like I hope, and I don't know if I should say this because it might actually be something that generates some, abundance in your life, Isaac. But I hope that the whole hair coloring thing takes a little bit of a backseat. You should know better than most, how bad that should be for your hair. Mm, struggling quite a bit. I don't know what to do or what to think. I feel like I'm being pulled in so many directions. Okay, Shannon, if you feel that way, write down, like genuinely write down what it is you're thinking, what it is you're feeling, where it is you're being pulled, and then just to look at those things, to like kind of be with them, to see if there is more, pros on the one side, more cons on the other side, and then just to learn from yourself. Like you can ask yourself questions, friends. If you're wondering about something, ask yourself a question. More often than not, you're gonna receive an answer. Shannon, there can be so much to making a big decision. Just keep your focus on love and compassion for yourself and your mindfulness. Your heart will not lead you astray. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Isaac. I appreciate that love, friend. Not reflection. We love you. I needed to hear this. Thank you so much for sharing that. Genuinely. Thank you so much, friend. Another Reddit guru. There's more? Sick, dude. Like, we're gonna maybe save the world if there's a lot of us. Thank you for joining us. Canada stinks. So happy to resonate with you too on beat. I can picture it. Love you, brother man. Realistic fro, yo. Love you, dude. I could comment. but I like. Okay. I'm practicing self care and awareness as well these days. Is what's most important, Helio. It's the thing that's going to always serve us. Your awareness will always be with you. So becoming aware, becoming familiar with your awareness is something that will always serve you as well. So similar. If I have a brunette that hates warmth or copper, you can put green in to alter that as well. That's pretty crazy. Feel free to reach out, Shannon, if you want to talk through the pros and cons or get another perspective. I'm here. We all are, Shannon. You know, like you have a direct link to all of us now. We care and love you so much. Please do reach out if you need some help. Funny there. You tell yourself that thing going unfinished, some kind of reminder. Just control saying, hey, Meltmore, here we are again. It's nice to see you, man. Here we are again, friend. In the same way that we've always been, but we're not the same that we were. Right? Thank you for joining me again here, by the way. I do feel like hair color should take a backseat from the standpoint of it's something that people have to do to be fashionable. There is such a breadth of products and chemicals to use. And the thing is as well, like your hair keeps growing, right? So if your hair grows out like this much, now you have to go and color it again, and then it grows and then color it again and again. And if you're not going to do it, then you're not fashionable. And then stopping doing it, your hair becomes fraily and, like kind of damaged like this. These chemicals are unlikely ultimately too available to the undereducated public, and it's not considered hazardous because the only negatives is ruining your hair. Like, let's not even get into talking about your scalp and how close your scalp is to your brain. Goodness. You are enough, daily, hourly, moment by moment. You are doing what you can with what you have, and that is always enough no matter what. I love you very much, bestie. Thank you for that, Aunt B. And Kira Burb, I appreciate you, friends, mirroring each other right now. Both, but I know that the effort was there, and I've gotten better at being nice to myself. Much harder when I get it from others. So, yes, you are always enough, even if you're done none of your duties. You're still more than enough. Thank you, friends, so much for sharing the love. Contract. Thank you for giving us a vibin, dude. I appreciate your love, dude. I think I would really actually appreciate talking to someone about this. I talk in such general terms on here because I don't want to put all of my business out there, but I think taking it out into the world, talking it out would be a good idea. Please, please, Shannon. Hey, Aiden. Oh, by the way, it's my birthday today. Started the day off right with a cheeky 1G of monkeys. Like Aiden, I was like waiting. I was waiting, like seriously waiting, until a person asks me to sing them a happy birthday song, for their birthday. And nobody ever did. But in this moment, I want to sing happy birthday to you. So I'm gonna sing happy birthday to Aiden right now. Neck down. Man, I'm cringing already. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Aiden. Happy birthday to you. Thank you for joining us, Brother Bear. I love and appreciate you. I cannot tell you how much you matter, dude. Congratulations on making it another rotation around our sun. How lit to have you in this moment with us. You are so loved, Brother Bear. Love is being shared. My clients that trust me and know my expertise have no problem. Most will go for a budget and make a mistake, and then boom, they're in my chair getting fixed up. I mean, two sides of the same infinity, Isaac. Feel free to call me tonight if you want. If you want, Shannon, you've got my Discord. Just message me, and we'll make it happen, my friend. Better do it, Shannon. Better show up, friend. That's the only way, Thank you. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it so much as well, Isaac. And this is where I try to take accountability for attaching myself and my worth to the duties I do for others. And of course, they will go with that if I'm willing to allow that. Oh yes, they will. If you keep telling people that's the story, they're gonna be like, oh okay, so this is the story, and then you're gonna be like, what the fuck? Why are you believing this story about me? Because you kept telling me that this is the story. So how could I believe anything other? I feel the zombie. feels like most days I don't accomplish enough, and there's always someone saying X hasn't been done yet, but in my mind I'm responding. But I thought J have been done. At that point, it is up to me to realize that I've done what I can. And you are loved for that, friend. Thank you for doing as much as you can, in every single moment. That does sound tough. It is hardest part of being okay with the backlash and opinions of others to perceive me or opinions others perceive of me for taking that strange. But again, for the stance, but again, that is for me to work on as I try to offer understanding to others. Doing the work that only you can do for yourself, and thinking for yourself in that way as well, and like being willing to think in this moment for yourself, regardless of what other people are saying, to not take on their bullshit, their their BS, their belief system. Like the same thing. Bullshit belief system can be. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for being willing to receive. I feel like so violent. I mean, I get so angry. It's uncontrollable. I have no close friends to express what I feel, so I choose to play karate to make me calm. I punch the punching bag as hard as I can. I feel so depressed. Just control. What are you angry at, friend? Like maybe that is the question that we should be asking in that context. Is like, are you angry at yourself? Are you angry at the world at large? Are you angry at the state of things? Are you angry about not feeling a certain way? Are you angry about feeling a certain way? I feel like asking these questions of ourselves, thinking about them a little bit, can be very beneficial as well. And thank you for opening up and for feeling into your truth, friend, for thinking for yourself, even though the things you might be thinking might not be societally acceptable. You were loved, just control. Hey, Bonnie McMurray. Nice to have you here as well. Happy birthday, Aiden. You have a lot of birthday wishes being sent your way, brother Bear. So much love to you. Just waking up, mentally preparing to take on the workday. You're gonna get it. Bonnie McMurray, sending you so much love for this week. Nah, there's no pressure. Thank you, Isaac. I really, really appreciate it. I really do try. Kind of depends on some things, unfortunately. There's no pressure. There's no pressure, my friend. When you're ready, let me know and I'll be there. Thank you so much for that, Isaac. I really appreciate you reaching out. Like all of us, Shannon, all of us, friend. Like any of these friends, will be there to accept and love you if you need that. Sorry, feel that. Please try to find ways to take extra care of yourself. Thank you, Aunt B, for that encouragement as well. Thank you both. Thank you, friend, for sharing love. I struggle with this in the same that others expect me to believe in this and feel that without asking what I think or feel. Yeah, because it's not it was important. You're supposed to feel or think what it is they want you to damn with what you think or feel, to damn with what your truth is. This right here is the only truth. And if you aren't this truth, then you must be absolute shit, right? That's how it works in this world sometimes. I'm sorry, that might have been a little bit too direct. I was trying to create an example. And the world does that. Hey, kitty, kitty. Hey, meow, meow. Come here. Okay, he's gonna scream at me. Fine. Peppy, I have to go and get that little Pepsi. Come, let's go get that. And apparently the cat's name is Wheat Pix. Okay, the cat's running away. Okay. Beso! Beso! Shantai! I think I got my Shantai, my sister. Die kijkie skreef vir iemand. Ja, lief vat. Die kijkie skreef vir iemand. The cat is screaming for someone. And like as soon as I wanted to stand up, she was like running a little bit away, and then she sat down again, and then she was meowing again. So first I called my little brother, whose cat it is, but then my sister was closer, fortunately. Little kitty has been taken care of, has been put into a place of some warmth. Goodness, my fingers are cold. Being considered or heard, even if we don't agree, is so incredibly powerful, and I think everyone deserves that. Unfortunately, sometimes we will be the only ones willing to consider ourselves. At least we have this space on B, where we can actually think things, even though they might be out of the ordinary. I appreciate you, friends, for encouraging and supporting me in that as well. No, they won the Wheat Bix argument. They won the Wheat Bix argument. Freaking Eden. I'm gonna call her Weed Bix. Weed Bix. They freaking won. It's been done, friends. The cat's name is Weed Bix. All we can do is show up the space in which we've always been and will continue to be, knowing without a doubt there is nothing that can be taken from you. A melt. Jasmine was dying, laughing at the fact that I have a South African twin. Dude! Like, I'm so happy that I got to share it with you as well, Isaac. I shared it in, in passing, in words, but then being able to share the photo, dude. Like, so I have this friend, and you friends know about him, Yuan. He's the one I do the podcasts with, and I love Yuan to bits, and Yuan is a genius as well. And then through showing up in this space, Isaac, like started resonating with the things we're saying, with the things we're feeling. And then I got to see a photo of Isaac, and I got to have a conversation with Isaac, and I could see the way that Isaac thinks about things. And the amount of synchronicities between Johan, the friend I've met in real life, and Isaac, they're like twins. They look the same, they have like the same philosophies, they have the same, genius minds. It is so surreal to like see an individual fractaled, right? Like there are multiple Isaacs in the world probably, and I get to meet two of them. That's how freaking cool Isaac is. Like the universe was like, yeah, I could give you like one Isaac, but how about you get two of them? How about you get three of them? Maybe we'll find like a third Isaac at some point. Isaac, control. Wait. Oh, I know, Isaac. I feel ready to talk about it, and I want to. It just depends on something out of my control. I feel that. Know that you are loved and supported in this space, Shannon. We're holding you in our hearts right now. Gotta interrogate my family to find out why I was abducted from my original. It's like I have a twin? The fuck? What do you mean? Oh goodness, dude. Thank you for letting me share that with you. Sounds like I'm back just in time to send y'all love to carry in the rest of your day. 144. I love you. Thank you for that. Thank you for the synchronicity. I appreciate that so much, Jovan. At least we have this space. Yes, Mel. So grateful. So grateful for you. You're a part of this space. You are this space. In this moment, you are the receptive space that is receiving these words, these thoughts. So thank you, Aunt B. Thank you so much, my friend. So much love, 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 love. You are so special, Joe. She really is. Like quite something. They do look similar. It's ridiculous. It boggles my mind. All the blue to you, bird friend. All the blue to you. Sending you good vibes, dude. The four Isaacs of the apocalypse. Isaac. 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 There has to be a Isaac, dude. Wait, let's see who's the rest. Isaac? Isaac? Isaac. Isaac? Isaac. Isaac. So like the horseman of sadness. There has to be the horseman of death, dude. Can we swap Isaac for Isaac? And then we have Isaac, the horseman of intelligence, and then we have Isaac, the horseman of good times. Dude, thank you so much. Oh, the blue. I'm blue, dabba dee dabba die, dabba dee. Even the sky is especially blue today, though that might just be the monkeys kicking in. Or it is just you, Brother Aiden. It is you being receptive of the beauty of nature, the beauty of the blue sky in this moment. If my blue water bottle and my can be perceived as blue cup, blue with a little bit of a sprinkle of red. Thank you, friends, for being in this moment with me, for sharing a little bit of these thoughts, for not accepting the things I'm saying as absolute truth, but just being willing to sit in this moment with me, to feel, to think, to experience you. You were experiencing you. You were listening to some dude making sounds, but you were experiencing yourself, friend. The truth that is in your heart. So thank you for that. One more. One more. No, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that actually. I wanted to plug the Patreon again. Like a part of me feels like there's some sort of anxiety building. I don't know why. You know, like it's It's maybe because of the fluctuation. I think that might be it. Where I feel if there's more Patreon supporters, more fluctuation would be less daunting. But then I realize there is only fluctuation. So I'm like, oh my god, doesn't really matter. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much for all of the support you provided. Thank you for the moment that you spent with me today. Goodbye for now, former child. Goodbye, Kira Burr. Thank you for the love, my friend. Had a fun adventure while being surrounded by an epic thunderstorm Saturday night. It was incredible. Like I only got to hear bits of it by proxy, but just by proxy, it was absolutely beautiful as well. Thank you again, Aunt B, for plugging the Patreon. New friends have done more than I can ever have asked for, so I appreciate that. Thank you for thinking for yourself, right? Thank you for being willing to think for yourself and still think, you know, in synchronicity with what I'm thinking. It means more than I can say. Skryzik, the author, Dryzik of the desert. Oh, die is better than Rye. I feel like if it's gonna be a horseman, it has to be a Dyzik. Lyzik, the jester. There we go. Friends, you are all such a blessing. Truly, thank you. I love you all so much. As we love you, that love you have, that awareness of like individuals that I love, realizing that it's you generating that love, realizing that it's you seeing the mirror that is us, knowing that you love you as we love you. The I that I am is the I that we are, and that I love. And that I being in you means that I love you. So thank you, friends. Thank you so much for joining me, for sharing this moment with me. I'll see you, friends, again tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. Have an amazing day. Dryzik, Dryzik of the desert. Goodness, sending you so much love, Isaac. Good vibes. Magic, magic, magic. Love, love, love. Light, light, light. Abundance, abundance. Growth. Isaac, the no. Isaac. Actually, his name is Isaac, dude. So the fact that that is the case, the one that knows. I love you, friends, so much. Have an amazing birthday, Aiden. Again, Brother Bear, I appreciate you so much for sharing a moment with us today. I hope that you're having a great one, dude. Like you get to have some insights, you get to have just a moment of calm, you get to have chaotic moments even. We've come full circle, and here we are, where we've always been. I love and appreciate you, friends. See you again tomorrow. Goodbye, my dudes and dudettes.